Hi, Sandra here, the Misophonia therapist. And today's question is misophonia caused by trauma? Or rather, is there a link between the two? And as a therapist who has worked with trauma a lot in my practice, as well as misophonia, I am particularly curious about the potential link between the two. So let's just start off with a short explanation of how trauma affects the brain and the nervous system. When we experience something traumatic, some people are able to process the experience and the memory will be neutralized and filed away as being no longer a problem. So the emotional content is neutralized. So the person who experienced the trauma may well still remember what happened, but thinking about it won't cause any big problems. Some people, however, are, for some reason, unable to process the memory effectively, and it's still not that clear exactly why. This means it can linger in the emotional part of the brain, causing havocs with our minds and our bodies. And even if it seems like we have forgotten about the experience, it's easy to be triggered every time we see or hear something that reminds us of the experience. And some people with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, for example, may keep on reliving the memory as if it were very fresh in their minds, as if they were actually going through the experience every time they remember it. And it's not known, as I said, why some people seem to cope better than others. But for those that don't, the brain can often be very hypersensitive in some regions, and it can do weird things in its attempts to protect us, which is the job of your subconscious mind. So there's a part of the brain that still believes that we are not safe, okay, even though logically that appears to be not the case at all. So this region of the brain is called the amygdala. It communicates with the emotional memory bank all the time and will fire off warning signals whenever there's an incoming match or danger signal. Is called pattern matching. So for people who develop misophonia, this signal, this warning, is likely to be a sound. It could be the sound involving chewing, mouth sounds, breathing, tapping, whatever the sound is that particularly bothers them. And the sound itself does not necessarily have to do anything with the trauma, totally unrelated a lot of the time. It's just that fear needs a focus. And if during the traumatic experience, the person experienced a loss of control, helplessness or powerlessness in particular, then it's little wonder that the amygdala feels a strong urge to step in and protect them whenever that feeling, the powerlessness, lack of autonomy, or loss of control and helplessness presents itself again in the future. And this hypersensitivity is likely to affect other regions of the brain. And it could be that risk is overestimated, with our ability to deal with it underestimated. And this tends to happen at the subconscious level, and it's potent. Now, trauma which is unprocessed can certainly increase the risk of misophonia developing in some people, Cause and effect still hasn't been determined, of course. We are still unclear exactly why misophonia develops, but it does appear to be more common in people who have had some kind of trauma in their past. Although this does not mean that if you have misophonia, then you must have had some past trauma. As I said before, the cause and effect link isn't clearly established. And of course, many people with misophonia wouldn't have had trauma. And for some people, getting help with processing trauma could have an impact on your misophonia symptoms. And I hope this has been helpful. Please subscribe if you're watching me on YouTube, or follow me on other platforms. And as ever, do feel free to make direct contact if you want more information, or perhaps to book a call with me to see if I could help you. Thank you, and I'll be back tomorrow.